Alrighty, and we are live. Welcome to episode 60 of the MCS Real Sports Podcast. I am your host, as always, Mascara, and we got my great co-host to my right, Mr. Caleb Connick. Caleb, how are we doing this fine Saturday, December 18th, 2021?
Blessed, brother. Blessed. It's totally a blessing to be alive. Um, man, I'm feeling great. I'm blessed, bro. Hey, can't complain. Just love living, brother. Love living. How are you doing, man? How are you doing? We've made it
Man,
all the way to December.
yeah, made it all the way to December. I'm doing good, man. You know, class has just recently finished for me, so now the winter break is upon us. Same thing for my boy Caleb, and I'm pretty sure that's
Fuck
what all
yeah.
college students are feeling right now. Classes are all done. Winter break is upon us. Playoff football is coming soon. NBA season is
Woo.
underway, full in swing, and pretty much all of the great things that we love about sports going underway. But we are actually doing something new here for this episode 60 of the MCS Real Sports Podcast. For those of you guys who don't know, normally for our episodes, we just normally do like regular Skype, just me and Caleb doing our thing and stuff through there. But for this episode 60, we are actually going live via Colorcast and via the Unwrapped Sports Network YouTube channel, their Facebook, their Twitch, even my own Facebook and my own Twitter. So if you haven't tapped in yet, tap into those. We'll be able to see your comments, and even on the Colorcast itself, if you want to tune in, you're more than welcome to. And there's a thing called the hot seat, to where we could allow you to go on in, and you're able to do your thing from there. But with that being said, let's get through some of the Unwrapped Sports Network sponsors. If you want to buy some t-shirts, hit up teesprings.com/store/unwrapped. If you want to join in their Patreon program, hit up patreon.com/unwrapped sports. There are three different tiers. A $1 tier to where you just help support the Unwrapped Sports Network, do your thing there.
Help
And
support.
and then there's a $5 tier, to where if you join in on the $5 tier, you get access to our Discord chat. We have gambling stuff there, and just simply just all sports stuff as a whole there. And you get a chance to be in the runnings to win a collectible item every month. We've given away in the past a Ricky Williams helmet. We've given away David Montgomery, Keenan Allen. We've done a sort of varieties there, and our ultimate $10 tier, to where you get all the same stuff, but even more of a discount for the Teespring store. Now, if you're into gambling like some people are, hit up mybookie.ag, use promo code USM100 to double your first deposit. And if your back is hurting, if you're carrying your team, like whether it's fantasy football or just in life in general as a whole, putting the team on your back, hit up rxhemp.com, use rxhemp-USN to get 10% off your purchase. But with that being said, Caleb, where can the people find all of the great things that you do?
Man, since we're on StreamYard today, we're on Color Class. I gotta give y'all a whole different. I gotta pitch a different ball right now. Well, I'm about to start. Boom, 90 miles per hour. You see, at the bottom of the Streamcast, at the bottom of Streamcast, you should see my name. It says Caleb Conant at Caleb Conant 2. You can find me on Twitter at Caleb Conant 2. Whoop de doo. And then you can do the same thing on Instagram, just a little bit different. Curveball, right? Look. So on Instagram, I need you to go one Caleb Conant, and that's spelled CALEBCONANT. Again, I'll say it again. No issue, no problem. One Caleb Conant, one CALEBCONANT. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter there. Click the link in the bio. You can find other great things I've contributed to. You can also find the Jules and Jim's podcast, season 6 coming in 2022. Be ready. And yeah, man, just those two. You can find me there, and then look my name up on LinkedIn, and you can find me there too. So, however you want to do it, whatever you want to do, let me know. I'm here. You feel me, Matt? Where can they find you?
Man, they can find all my stuff down below. But we have a comment in the color cast. We got another Unwrapped Sports Network member, Mr. Michael Lawson. What's up, Matt? Nothing much, Michael. What about you? And Caleb, anything you got to say to Michael Lawson?
Man, my guy, Michael, brother, how you doing, man? How you doing, man? I miss talking sports with you, bro. Hey, whenever Count the Bucket has another episode, let me know, brother. Let me
They
know.
actually they actually have one tonight.
Damn, I'll be in Hemet tonight. I think I'll be chilling. So hit me up with the link. If I can slide through, I will, and definitely talk some shit with you guys. I love it. I'm off school, so I definitely want to, I want to make my pop ups here and there. And Michael, you definitely welcome me with open arms. So I always appreciate that, and truly enjoy being on your show, bro.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it. But back to the stuff at hand. My Twitter handle is down below. I'm @_Skura. Instagram @Matt_Skura20. Check out my Twitter @Matt_Skura. And the links in both of those bios will give a link tree access to this very podcast, MCS Real Sports Podcast. And it gives you links to the Apple podcast version, iHeartRadio, Anchor, you name it. Once you click the link in my bio, you will be able to find everything. You'll be able to find everything on there. And with that out of the way, let's go into some recent NFL news. In fact, we have a comment in the Colorcast. Shout out to Colorcast. Shout out Patrick Rooch. He has a comment. He has a comment where it says thoughts on the Patriots versus Colts game. We will actually get into that when we discuss Week 15 of the NFL. Which, if you want, we could actually get into that right now. So for Week 15, a lot of stuff has happened so far through week 15. As of recent NFL news, as you might have heard, Caleb, some recent games have been rescheduled. We've heard. I believe it was the Browns game got rescheduled to Monday. The Browns Raiders game, which was supposed to be today, got rescheduled to Monday at 4. So now we have a Monday doubleheader. And then Seattle versus the Rams and Washington versus Philadelphia got scheduled to Tuesday as well. What has been your thoughts so far on this week week 15 so far? But overall, just the Patriots versus Colts game as a whole.
Well, I'm gonna start off with the COVID protocol. It's ridiculous. It's alarming. But I definitely want to pray for everybody that's in protocol. You know what I'm saying, and pray for their families, and pray that their unvaccinated families, are protected and safe throughout this time, and this situation that the players are going through. So first and foremost, we want to let that be known. Secondly, I just hope that we don't reenact 2020 again, to where the season gets postponed and things like that. So I love that. I think the NBA is doing a better job of showing, like, being able to handle situations like this. Because last year it was just, we're not doing this. Okay, well, hey, the season's postponed. So I think they're doing a great job of handling the situation. And then going down to the Colts and the Patriots, not the Patriots. I call them the Patriots. The Patriots going down to the Colts and the Patriots game. That's a big game for both teams, right? Like, truly a big game for both teams. The Colts need to win this one. So did the Pats. I think if the Pats win this one, this could really, solidify them and send them to the playoffs, and give them a legitimate contender tag. Like, who asked the question again? I forgot the name. Who asked the question?
It was Patrick Rooch on Colorcast.
Patrick Rooch. See, I don't know what fan you are, Patrick, but I know you asked that question for a reason. So I don't know if you like the Colts or the Patriots. I don't know if you might not like either team. But then again, I want to let it be known that, to me, Matt, the Patriots aren't a legitimate contender yet. They're having a good season, but they aren't a legitimate contender yet. So I think, with that being said, this game, if Mac Jones wins this game, this can prove that they might have that tag to be a legitimate contender. Mac Jones still has a lot to prove. I thought it was very impressive how he beat the Bills last. I want to say it was last week.
It was on a Monday Night Football where they ran it 47 times for over 200 yards, and Mac Jones only threw 3 passes.
3 passes, 2 for 3, 19 yards. That was fucking impressive. That's a game manager for you. That's somebody who can manage the game, and he's a rookie, so that impressed me. But he still has to, show that he could throw 400, 350, and get three touchdowns if he's trying to be what the Patriots want him to be, Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? So, I think it's a big game for both teams. But honestly, just to start it off, bro, I think the Colts come out on top. What about you, man?
Ooh, interesting. I think differently. So my thoughts on the Patriots Colts game. I mean, you hit it on the nail, Caleb. It's big for both teams. You look at the Patriots; they're 9-4, currently the 2 seed in the AFC. But that's because the Kansas City Chiefs won on Thursday, advancing themselves to 10-4. But I also look at the Patriots differently. I mean, you said you haven't classified them as a contender. Are they just on the playoff level? To you, Caleb, like to where they'll make the playoffs, but they'll maybe just win one game and that's it?
Yeah. They're a playoff team right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's my question for you. How could you can't a rookie quarterback has to prove himself, right? Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Or
Absolutely,
you know
the rookie quarterback has to prove himself. I just look at the past, just the way how their defense is built. I think they could be one of the teams to beat in the AFC. But overall, in this game, you look at it, a lot of playoff seeding is on the line in this game. You look at if you're the Indianapolis Colts, if you look at the Indianapolis Colts, which I will share on screen here, the current conference standings. You look at the Indianapolis Colts; they are right there at that 6th seed at 7-6, and you look at Tennessee at 9-4. Yeah, you may have gotten swept by the Tennessee Titans, but if you could find a way to get closer, and if Tennessee can slump, like maybe the last 4 weeks, they go on a 3-game losing streak, and if the Colts win out, bam, you got the division right there. So the division is still for the taking for Indy. And if they could find a way to pull off the upset and win this game, then boy, will this be a statement win for the Colts. And even for the Colts as a whole, just for their playoff spot. I mean, just look at this AFC standings right here. They're 7-6, but as a 6th seed. But you look at the rest of the teams. You got the Bills 7-6, Browns 7-6, Bengals 7-6, Broncos 7-6, Steelers 6-6-1, Raiders, Dolphins each 6-7. I mean, that playoff race is wide open in the AFC, and that's not just for one wild card spot. That's for all three. All three of the wild card spots, 5 through 7, 5, 6, and 7, they are wide open. So I think this game is going to be very important for both teams. But I'm on the flip side, Caleb. I got the New England Patriots. I'm one of those people who I'm not downing Bill Belichick until something goes wrong. Like, yeah, they had a down year last year, but the QB was injured. They had a lot of players opt out. This team is healthy. This defense is good. This run game is going to be good. I think it's going to be interesting how the Pats will be without Damian Harris. So I think you're going to see a lot of I think it's Ravondre Stevenson. You're going to probably see a lot of him involved. And I just want to see how Bill Belichick is going to manage Mac Jones in this game. Like we saw Mac Jones play on Monday night. It was miserable weather in Buffalo. That's why you saw him run it 47 times. But you get a nice enclosed roof in Lucas Oil Stadium in the Indianapolis Colts. Colts got a great defense. You got Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner, so many great players on that defense. It's going to be interesting to see how both these teams play. And you might even think of this as an early playoff game. Like this looks like a playoff preview kind of game here in week 15. So I'm overall excited for that game. But with that being said, let's move on to why we have it here, Caleb.
But
The NFL standings as a whole.
okay, and before we go to the NFL standings, before we go all the way there, I want to ask you a question about Mac Jones. What is it gonna take? What is the stat line gonna take for Mac Jones to win this game today? And it's not Mac Jones. Let me rephrase my question. What is it gonna take? What is Mac Jones gonna have to do for them to win tonight?
For Mac Jones to win this game tonight, he has to throw for at least 200 yards, at least 2 touchdowns, but no turnovers. The Patriots will win this game if the motto is for the rookie quarterback to not turn the ball over. As long as the Patriots clean football, they have the best chance to win this game. And you can make that same argument for the Colts. This game is going to be about who makes the turnover first. Whoever gets the takeaway has the best chance to win this game. And also, when you take the turnover, to capitalize off that turnover, because the New England Patriots, they are key for making turnovers and making you pay. So if the Patriots can get some takeaways, that's how they can win this game. But from Mac Jones' perspective, as long as he plays clean football, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, the Patriots are going to be just fine.
Hey, I like that. I like that. I think, Mac Jones is going to have to do some things. Obviously 2 touchdowns, 200 yards. He's going to have to do something. It's not going to be like last game where he could just manage the game and throw the ball 3 times. Again, I think both teams are run-heavy teams. They balance. They focus on the run to get the pass, especially Indiana with JT. JT is actually having a really good season right now. So, they both depend on the run, but after the run comes the pass, and Carson Wentz is proven to strike. He has Michael Pittman, T.Y. Hilton. I don't know if he's having a good year, but Michael Pittman is a really good open target. So I think it's going to come down to who performs the best out of those two. You know what I'm saying? I would assume that Jonathan Taylor is going to outperform the running back on the Patriots side. But then again, I think it comes down to Wentz versus Mac Jones. Who's going to manage the game better and come through when it's the right time? Because they both – I don't know about Mac Jones. I haven't been able to watch a lot of him. But I know Carson Wentz, he just throws the interceptions at a horrible time. Horrible.
Absolutely, there could be those situations. But with that being said, let's move on to the present day NFL standings. So as of week 15, the standings consist of this: the first seed, we got the Kansas City Chiefs at 10-4. The second seed, we got the Pats at 9-4. Third seed, we got the Titans at 9-4. The Baltimore Ravens at the 4th seed at 8-5. Fifth seed Chargers at 8-6. 7-6 Indianapolis Colts has a 6th seed, and the Buffalo Bills rounding out the 7th seed with a 7-6 record. And then for the teams just outside of the playoff picture for the AFC, it's crazy. You got the 7-6 Browns, 7-6 Bengals, 7-6 Broncos, 6-1 Steelers, 6-7 Raiders, and 6-7 Miami Dolphins. Just in the AFC as a whole. Caleb, in the next 4 weeks, weeks 15, 16, 17, and 18, will there be any changes to this present day AFC playoff picture 1 through 7? And if there is, what would the changes be?
Well, I hope not. I really like what I see as far as the teams that are in there right now. I'd hope to see maybe the Bengals in there if they could sneak in over the Colts. And one team I want to mention and point out that's been having a really good back-to-back week are the Dolphins. I think they're on a 5-game winning streak right now. So I could see them maybe getting in there with their schedule. Their schedule is very weak, so I could honestly see them sneaking in there. But I don't think anything changes, and if something does change, I could see maybe the Bengals getting in there or the Browns, and that's it. Maybe the Dolphins, maybe, because their schedule is so trash. I don't know, man. Do you see any changes? I don't know. Do you see any changes right now? That's a good question.
Here's what I will say. I believe the standings that I could see change. I was very bold, Caleb. I was on the great Anthony Conover show, Generational Sports, last Monday. I made the bold prediction of saying the Steelers will win the AFC North. And personally, this may sound crazy, but I'm going to stand by that. I think the one thing that will change is I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to find a way to get the 4th seed. and get the AFC North crown. Look, I'm not sold on the Baltimore Ravens. You look at Lamar's health; it's a question mark. He's still questionable to play tomorrow's game against my Green Bay Packers. And I look at the Ravens. The Ravens are in full panic mode because you look at Caleb. Their final 4 games consist of this: you got the Green Bay Packers on Sunday, tomorrow. Week 16. Week 16, you got a tough opponent. I believe it's the Indianapolis. I don't think it's the Indianapolis Colts, but you got a tough divisional game, if I'm not mistaken. There, I believe it's the Cincinnati Bengals. You got week 16. This time at Cincinnati. You then got to play the Los Angeles Rams week 17, and then the Steelers to close out week 18. And with Lamar's health in question, I'm just not sold. I'm not sold on the Baltimore Ravens. I'm also not sold on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are the most inconsistent 7-6 team I've ever seen. One week they could beat up on the Ravens 41-16. And then the next week they could lose to the Jets. And then you look at they had an easy opportunity to come back and beat the 49ers week 14. But they didn't get the job done. They couldn't stop George Kittle. He ran all of the Cincinnati Bengals. And ultimately, they failed in overtime when they needed them the most. And it's just one of those to where I think the only team that I could trust, and it may be crazy to say, but I truly believe the Pittsburgh Steelers could be that team to trust because you look at they got the veteran quarterback, they got Ben Roethlisberger, who looks good against Minnesota. Yes, they were down 29-0, but look at the comeback that they were able to make to get themselves into that game. It was something that we have never seen before. Like Ben Roethlisberger looked good. The offense was moving well. I think if the Pittsburgh Steelers can keep that up, they have a good shot at winning the AFC North. And also, you look at the Cleveland Browns. Look at the situation that's going on in Cleveland. You got a whole bunch of health issues. You got Baker Mayfield, who's not 100%. And it's one of those to where you could only rely on the run game for so long because you look at the one thing to stop the Browns is what? Stop the run game. If you could stop Nick Chubb, if you could stop Kareem Hunt, you're going to win that game because you look at Baker Mayfield, he's not 100%. You can tell he's playing through injury. He's playing through everything because, he's trying to get a contract. But it's one of those to where at one point it's going to be detrimental to the team. And I just think, and I also think it's Ben Roethlisberger's final season. As many of you guys may know, he has announced his retirement to where he's going to retire after this season. Why not go out winning the AFC North? Now, do I think they'll go far? No. I think if they win the AFC North, they're probably going to be one and done because they got to play the Chargers or even the Buffalo Bills. But I just look at the playoff standings, and I truly think it's going to be – I think you're going to see the Patriots get up there as that number 1 seed. I think you're going to see the Chiefs at 2. I think you're going to see the Titans at 3, Pittsburgh 4, and I believe you're going to see the Chargers at 5. I think you're going to see the Ravens 6, and I think the Buffalo Bills are going to be that final playoff team as a 7 seed. Like I truly believe by season's end, you could very well see that. Yeah, I know it's crazy to say that, but I believe in the Steelers more than I do the rest of the AFC North because the AFC North overall as a whole is wide open. You can make a case for any team. You can make a case for the Ravens. You can make a case for the Browns. You can make a case for the Bengals. You can also, like I just mentioned, make a case for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, honestly, brother, I feel like you're trying to make a case for the Steelers because you knew you fucked up on that pick. So you're trying to give them any little bit of hope that they could grab onto.
That could very well be a possibility. That could also be a sense of false hope. You never know. But I mean, right. You gotta admit, sometimes, Caleb, you gotta have a hot take, and that's my hot take, and I'm gonna ride with it.
Yeah, no, and you're right. That's your hot take, and I fucks with you for riding with that shit. You're supposed to ride with it. But then again, I want to ask you if you know their schedule because the tie situation. I'll be honest. I have to get used to the ties. This is our first NFL season with 10 games. Not 10 games. Yeah, no.
17.
17. So the mathematical, analytical, statistical structure is all fucked up in my head right now because I've been doing the same other shit, 16 games for the past 20 years.
Oh,
however long I've been doing sports.
Caleb, I just found out the Steelers' final 4 games. So they got the Tennessee Titans tomorrow.
Huge game.
On Sunday. They could win that game. It's at Heinz Field. You got Tennessee. Their run game is going to be very suspect, very shaky. And you also look at Tannehill. I don't know. I don't know about Ryan Tannehill. Week 16, you got now against the Chiefs. They're going to lose that game against Kansas City. It's at Arrowhead. I'm not giving them any shot against Kansas City. But
that's 2 almostes. I give you right. You made a point. They can pull it off tonight because there is no Derrick Henry or AJ Brown. We cannot forget no AJ Brown tonight. So go ahead, Chiefs. That's automatically L.
Yeah, but then you look at it, Week 17, Monday Night Football at Heinz Field. You got the Cleveland Browns. That's an easily winnable game.
That's a big game.
Steelers. And it's a division rival.
The Browns are better than them.
Oh, I don't know, Caleb. The Browns could be very shaky at times. And then they close it out Week 18 at the Baltimore Ravens, which could very well be a game that could decide who makes the playoffs or even who wins the AFC North.
Yeah.
And we've seen years beforehand where the Baltimore Ravens would be famous for choking that final week of the season and missing the playoff spot. Why not that be the same? Why not be the same old Baltimore Ravens to where they find a way to falter at the end?
Yeah, that's true. You know what? And one thing I have to let be known about Pittsburgh is they have a good coach. They have a good coach and they have good coaching.
And they always find a way. Like no matter what the team looks like. I mean, you look at Tomlin. He's been the head coach of Pittsburgh Steelers for 15 years, and he's never had a season to where he's finished below 500. Could he have done more? Yeah, he's slightly underachieved. There's been some years to where they have good rosters but don't make it far in the playoffs. But the key is he gets them above 500 and he just finds ways to win. He found a way to beat the Baltimore Ravens. Now, granted, the Ravens should have never went for 2. They should have relied on Tucker. But the matter of fact is they walked away with the win and they found a way to get it done. They found a way to come back against the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, they fell short in the end, but I'm telling you, coming back from down 29-0 to only losing 28-36, that gives a team a little bit of momentum. Just as thinking, you know what? Yeah, we have fallen short, but if we play like how we played in the second half, we could go toe to toe with anybody. And I mentioned Ravens' schedule earlier in the episode. You got to play the Packers. You got to play the Rams one more time. You got to play the Bengals and the Steelers. I mean, you're talking 2 division rivals. And then 2 teams that are battling for the number 1, 2 teams that are battling for a playoff spots in the NFC. I mean, it's one of those, the Ravens, they got a tough schedule. And,
they do.
And I look at the Steelers' schedule. I just think the Steelers' schedule is just easier than the Baltimore Ravens. Like you don't see the only toughest team the Steelers got to play the next 4 games is the Kansas City Chiefs. That's about it. The Tennessee Titans are easily winnable. Why? Because they're vulnerable at the run game. They could easily beat the Browns. Why? Because all you got to do is shut down the run game. And then you play the Baltimore Ravens. Depending on how Lamar Jackson's health is, it could very well be up in the air. Like we're not sure if Lamar is going to be healthy by week 18. So it's very up in the air. And in all honesty, I trust Mike Tomlin. I think Tomlin is going to find a way, and I think he's going to get it done in the AFC playoff picture. Those are my 7 teams. And Caleb, and just to make sure, you said there wouldn't be a lot of changes to this current playoff picture. Maybe just Cincinnati sneaks in.
Maybe Cincinnati sneaks in over Indy. I think maybe Indy or Buffalo, but other than that, I really don't see any. I don't see any switches. Like I think all these teams will get in, and the only 2 teams I can see shaking it up are the Bengals and the Dolphins, just because of how weak their schedule is. You know, they're on a 5-game winning streak. We can't ignore that. Tua is playing great. Thank God they didn't trade him.
Yeah, Tua is absolutely playing great. I mean, you look at with the young QB, you always have to give him time. I mean, they even showed a stat line like through his first 16 starts, Tua Tagovailoa is 9-7 through his first 16 starts, which as a rookie is which as a first year starter is impressive. Like if you go 9-7 your first year as a starter,
that's almost a playoff spot.
Yeah, that's almost a playoff spot. Like look at what Mac Jones is doing with the Pats. His rookie year starting, they're 9-4. Like they're currently doing well. And Tua, it seems like since he's gotten the reins, they've been on a nice win streak, and they've had some big wins along the way during that 5-game winning streak. Like that, remember that big win Thursday against the Baltimore Ravens? Like that's a statement win that the Dolphins had, and that was because Tua was able to jump in the game for Jacoby Brissett, and that pretty much, in my honest opinion, won the Dolphins over. That hey, he can play through injury, and he can find a way to get it done. It's going to be interesting to see how the Dolphins finish it out. Now, as we know, they don't have their first-round pick. Their first-round pick is the Philadelphia Eagles. But you look at it, instead of the Eagles having a top 10 pick, now you look at the Dolphins, they're setting themselves up. It's like, you know what? Instead of giving them a top 10 pick, we're giving them just a mid-round pick. Maybe pick 16 or 17 instead of, pick number 6.
Yeah, so, that's what it was looking like for most of the season. So yeah,
and I like what the Dolphins are doing, and it almost reminds me of Brian Flores' first year with the Dolphins, because remember his first year with the Dolphins, they were on pace to having one of the worst teams in NFL history. But then what happens? He goes on a nice win streak, and they win 6 games. And then obviously last year they win 10 games, and it's almost the same story this year. They were dead in the water, 1-7, rock bottom. They've lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars, gave them their first win of the season. But really, ever since that 1-7 start, they've been hot. They've won 5 straight games, and they are right there in that playoff picture. They're right there. Is it going to be hard for them to get in? Absolutely. It's going to be tough for them to get in. But they have positioned themselves to where if the dominoes fall, the Dolphins could find a way to sneak in that AFC playoff picture.
Exactly. I agree. Watch out for them Dolphs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, watch out. Dolph too. To my guys who listen to rap music, RP Dolph, man. He was definitely a legend in the community, and putting on for the city and the scene, man. Just wanted to let that be known. RP Young Dolph.
Mm-hmm, definitely a RP to him. But with the AFC playoff picture, let's move on to the other conference, the NFC side of things. And boy, do we got a loaded NFC side of conference.
Woo.
As of where it stands for Week 15, the NFC playoff picture consists of this. The Green Bay Packers, as many of you guys may know, my favorite NFL team, diehard team. They currently sit with the number 1 seed with a 10-3 record. You then got the 2 seed, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, sitting at 10-3. You then have the Arizona Cardinals sitting at 10-3 as the 3rd seed, with the Cowboys rounding out the last division winner at 9-4. But the NFC playoff picture, also wide open. You look at the 5th seed Los Angeles Rams, who came off of a big statement win, which I told Generational Sports last Monday that the Rams were going to find a way to get it done. What happens? They get the job done. They win the game on Monday. They put themselves in the running for the NFC West. They currently sit at 5th at 9-4. You then got the red-hot San Francisco 49ers, winners of 4 of the last 5 games, sitting at 7-6 and the 6th seed. And then you got the biggest toss-up of the NFC, the Washington football team, sitting at 6-7, hold the last spot in the NFC for that 7th seed. But you can make a case for almost anybody. You got Washington, who's 6-7. The Vikings are 6-7. The Philadelphia Eagles are 6-7. The Falcons are 6-7. The Saints are 6-7. And even if you want to go out on a limb, the Panthers are 5-8. The Seahawks are 5-8. And if you want to dive down further, the Giants are 4-9. The Bears are 4-9. So that battle for the 7th seed, Caleb, and even the 6th seed is as wide open as it ever is. Because you look at from the 5th seed all the way down to 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way down to even 10 to 11. Only one game separates that NFC playoff picture. Now, we saw how crazy the AFC is. It's 5 through 7, wide open. The NFC is wide open 6 through 7. Like, in my humble opinion, the top 5 teams are pretty much locked in stone for the NFC. You know Green Bay's going to make it. You know Tampa's going to be there. You know Arizona's going to be there. You know Dallas is going to be there. And you know the Rams are going to be there. It's just all about who's going to be 1 through 5, which will then lead to my question, Caleb. Who will be the 1 through 7 by the end of week 18? What changes will we see to this NFC playoff picture? We listed our changes in the AFC, but I want to hear what will be the changes in the NFC playoff picture.
Man, I think if the Niners keep winning, they have a fuck. Who do they play this week? I know that it's like an easy dub for them.
The 49ers will play the Atlanta Falcons. So you got the
Big
6-7 Falcons versus the 7-6 49ers.
Big game for both of those teams, right?
Absolutely.
Big game for both of those teams. I think the Niners win that just because they are a playoff team. You cannot forget they're a Super Bowl team, and I just think they have a more sense of urgency when it comes to making the playoffs, especially with Garoppolo. He's got to be very very desperate in making the playoffs this year because you never know. He could be back at the Niners next year. He could not be. I would assume not. They wouldn't bring him back because of Lance and what they're trying to accomplish with him and spending a 3rd round pick on him. So I think he definitely has to play to impress. He has to play to impress.
And
so
one thing, and I'm sorry to interrupt. One thing that's very concerning though for the Niners, Caleb, is here are their final 4 games. You got the Atlanta Falcons tomorrow. You got the Tennessee Titans on Thursday, week 16. You then got the Texans on week 17, but then you close it out at SoFi Stadium versus the Los Angeles Rams. So you got 3 of your next 4 games are going to be teams that are battling for a playoff spot.
But they're winnable though. They could beat. I think they could beat Atlanta. I don't know if Atlanta has that sense of urgency to get there. Atlanta's gonna have to do more. Those last 4 games, Atlanta's gonna have to go damn near win out. They can't. If they lose again, I mean, they could still get in, but I think they have to damn near win out. They have a young team.
100%.
Calvin Ridley is on the injury report, so I don't know if he's questionable or not playing.
Yeah, he's still he's still working on his mental health stuff. He's not playing week 15. He's still up in the air towards the end of the season, like week 16 or 17. But for this week, he'll be inactive. So you'll pretty much have to rely on Matt Ryan, Cordell Patterson, and Kyle Pitts,
and Russell Gage. Russell Gage has been having a very very solid year. Last year he made some good catches and showed some good spurts. Being the 3rd receiver with Julio and Calvin, but again, I see the Niners. I see him locking down that 6th seed, and then the 7th seed. That's where I see a switch at, man. I love Washington. Love Washington. They have a really good defense, proven defense. Heineke playing well, proving that he could fucking play. He could play. That boy could play. But I think we could expect to see like the Vikings in that 7th spot. Maybe the Eagles there. But I would say the Vikings. I can see out of all these teams, I can see the Vikings sneaking in and getting that 7th spot and being worthy of competing. I think they could compete with the Packers, and not to say that they wouldn't pay the Packers because they wouldn't. But then again, I still think they could compete with Tampa, whereas Washington, yes, they could compete, but they did take a blow with Chase Young, not playing. He's not their edge rusher right now, so that takes away from a lot of their identity. So in this NFC, I see that the Washington unfortunately falls out with a great impressive season to say the least, and I see that the Vikings get in there and just try to use Dalvin Cook and control the game.
Yeah, they're absolutely going to have to rely on Dalvin Cook because you look at these next 4 games. You got Monday Night Football versus the Chicago Bears. You then got to play the Los Angeles Rams. You then got to play the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field, and then you got to play the Chicago Bears again at home. So you really got to rely on that Dalvin Cook train, on that Dalvin Cook train for it to be able to work. Now,
Yeah,
go
Jay,
ahead.
you can't forget about J&J, Matt. You
Yeah,
know,
I definitely can't forget about the gritty. I like to call Justin Jefferson gritty man because he loves to do the gritty.
that's that dance, right? That little.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
yeah, yeah. That's the gritty.
Yeah, that's right. Gritty boy. Yeah. Go
Mhm.
ahead though. My bad.
Now, me personally, this may be interesting. I think for the most part, I think the NFC playoff picture. I think the first 6 seeds are locked in stone. I think it's going to be tough, but I I think Green Bay holds on to that 1 seed. I think it's going to be tough to do, especially the only team I'm concerned with is Tampa because we got the tiebreaker over Arizona, so I'm not worried about the Arizona Cardinals. But I'm looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm nervous against the Buccaneers because I mean you look at their next 4 games are very very easy games. Caleb, you got the Saints on Sunday Night Football, who are pretty much brittled, injured to the bone. You then got the Carolina Panthers, who are dysfunctional. You got the Jets, and then you got the Panthers again. So when you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they could very well easily win out these next 4 games. But you look at the Green Bay Packers side of things, it's very concerning because you got to play the Baltimore Ravens tomorrow, which could very easily have Lamar Jackson, who we know how good Lamar Jackson is. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You then on Christmas Day got to play the Cleveland Browns, who yes, they may be injury riddled, they may be baked to the bone, but you got to worry about Nick Chubb as your running back. That's going to be a hard ask to stop if you're the Green Bay Packers. And then your last 2 games, you got division rivals. You got the Vikings at home, but you lost to them earlier in the year. And then you then got the Detroit Lions week 18, which, yes, they're the Detroit Lions. But you also got to look at the fact you can never discount division rivals. Who
Yeah.
like imagine being the Lions and say, how about we play spoiler and spoil the Packers of the 1 seed and have them play a wild card game instead of getting a first round bye. That's what the Detroit Lions are going to be looking for. They're going to be like, you know what, we may not be on the same level as the Green Bay Packers. We may not be a Super Bowl contender, but why not us? Why not us play spoiler to the Green Bay Packers' hopes of getting that first round bye? And now they got to play in the wild card and play the 7 seed, which is going to be that 7 seed is going to be wide open. I mean, you got, like I mentioned, you said the Vikings were to get in. You got a very good shot for the Vikings. You got the Philadelphia Eagles. You got the Falcons. You got the Saints. And I mean, I know the old saying is "let Russ cook," but don't discount the Seahawks either. But for the 7th and final seed, I think it's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. I truly believe it's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. And why do I say the Philadelphia Eagles? I say the Philadelphia Eagles because over the next 4 games, they're winnable in 3 out of those 4 games. You got the Washington football team on a Tuesday, on Taco Tuesday. They play the Washington football team for week 15. I think they could easily win that game. They're also coming off a bye week too, so you got a lot of time to prepare. You then got, and then you also got to look at Caleb. 3 of the next 4 games for the Eagles are home games. You got home against Washington on Tuesday. That should be a win. You then got the New York Giants at home. You should win that game. You then got Washington again, week 17. Why not them? Why not beat Washington again? But your only toughest game, week 18, against the Dallas Cowboys, the Cowboys might already have the division already locked up. So, and what if, Caleb, the Dallas Cowboys, like Stephen A. Smith says, what can go wrong will go wrong. What if the Dallas Cowboys lose two of their next three? I mean, we're talking it's a long shot, but we're talking the NFC East could possibly be on the line. Week 18.
We are.
I mean, you look at the Cowboys. They got the New York. I believe they got the New York Giants. They got the New York Giants this week. Let me look and see how Week 15 fares out. But you look at the Dallas Cowboys. You got the New York Giants, which is a division rival. You can never discount divisional rivals. And then you got to play the Arizona Cardinals Week 17. And then I think Week 16 they play another team. But overall, why not the Philadelphia Eagles get that 7th seed? You got 3 of the next 4 games are easily winnable, but you can't afford to lose a game. If you can afford to lose a game, I can maybe see the Dallas Cowboys Week 18. But other than that, for the Eagles, for them to get the 7th seed, Jalen Hurts and crew have to win the next 3 games. They have to beat Washington twice, and they have to beat the New York Giants. Because if they lose one of these games, Caleb, they're finished. Their season's over. Just like you mentioned with the Atlanta Falcons. If the Falcons lose one game, they're finished. Same thing with the Philadelphia Eagles. You lose one of these games before Dallas, you're finished. And it's impressive to me because I didn't see the Philadelphia Eagles at all in this position. Like I said, my hot take before the season started was I said the Eagles weren't going to finish last. The New York Giants will. And I had the Eagles winning 6 games. They're currently at 6 games right now, but they have a chance to actually make the playoffs. And I'm telling you right now, if the Philadelphia Eagles can find a way under first-year head coach Nick Sirianni through the rough start of the first half of the season, if they could find a way of getting in the playoffs as a 7th seed, I think Eagle fans could classify that season as a win, as a good season. Yeah. Doesn't matter if you lose a playoff game. Just if you get there under Jalen Hurts' first year as a starter, Nick Sirianni's first year as a head coach, and it could even bolster Devontae Smith's Rookie of the Year candidacy. I mean, what case Devontae Smith has? You could just say he could possibly say, "My team made the playoffs. These other rookies didn't." Now it's going to be very hard to overtake Mac Jones or Jamar Chase because you look at the kind of pace that they're going on basically like record pace. Like Jamar Chase is looking like the next coming of Randy Moss.
He's looking like Devontae Adams 2.0.
Yeah, even that as well. And then you look at Mac Jones, what he's been doing for the Pats, he's leading them to the friggin' AFC East crown. So it's gonna be very hard to overtake them. But if Devontae Smith can help the Philadelphia Eagles find a way to get in that playoff picture, he's going to be in the runnings for Rookie of the Year, which is crazy to me because I did not foresee the Philadelphia Eagles as being a team to where they can make the playoff picture, but they can. I think they will. I think the final seeding will go as this. I think it'll be the Green Bay Packers. I think it'll be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Here's the thing. You're gonna get live action right now because I'm gonna look at the final 4 games the Rams and the Cardinals play, and then I'm gonna give you who's going to win the NFC West because it's gonna be the Rams or the Cardinals. It's gonna be either or. The Rams, as we all, hold the tiebreaker, but I think for the Rams it's gonna be tough because Week 15 you got the Seattle Seahawks. You can never discount the Seahawks. You look at the Seahawks.
You can never discount the Seahawks, but I think they got
the
it.
Seahawks season has been a disaster. Why? Because Russell Wilson has been hurt. Last 2 games, Russell Wilson has looked better. They've been winning. And you also look at the Seahawks, they might look at this game and say, hey, we're still in this playoff picture. Surprisingly enough, we're 5-8, but we still got a chance for a playoff picture. That's going to be a tough game for the Rams. You then got the Minnesota Vikings. They're battling for a playoff picture. That's going to be a tough game. You then got the Baltimore Ravens. That as well is going to be tough. And then you got the 49ers. So all those games right there are going to be very tough. Are going to be very tough for the Los Angeles Rams. But you look at the Arizona Cardinals, you look at their next 4 games. I think it's going to be easier. I think it's going to be easier for the Arizona Cardinals than the LA Rams, because you got the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
You got the Detroit Lions tomorrow. You then got the Indianapolis Colts week 16, the Cowboys week 17, the Seahawks at week 18. I mean, you look at it, it's a toss-up. It truly is. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just for the sole fact that the Cardinals play the Detroit Lions, I think that will be the difference in them winning the division. I think the Cardinals will just barely win the NFC West just because they play the Detroit Lions and the LA Rams basically got 4 playoff games. The Rams basically got 4 playoff games, and the Cardinals only got 3. And I think that's the difference in that game. I got the Cardinals slotting in as the 3rd seed. I think the Cowboys will stay as the 4th seed. I think they'll win the NFC East. I don't think the Eagles will rally back and win the NFC East, which will be crazy if they do.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Rams will slot in as a 5th seed. I think the 49ers, like you mentioned, Caleb, will be the 6th seed. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles will round out that playoff picture. And I truly believe they are going to be that 7th seed. And now, granted, if the Packers don't get the 1 seed, I would love to see a matchup of the Packers Eagles in a playoff game. That would be something special.
That'd be an easy ass whooping for you guys. What are you talking about? You just want somebody
no. I'm just saying it would be special because I know a couple Eagles fans, and why not at home at Lambeau, Packers Eagles, almost like 2010 2011.
Yeah, you're right. It would be special, especially for me and you. It'd be special for sure. It'd be a battle of our truly who our favorite teams are. And we're hosts. Truly my favorite team has always been the Eagles, Saints as well. 3rd favorite team, Rams, for X, Y, and Z reasons. But my 2 favorite teams have been the Eagles and the Saints, and I'd love for them to play you, but I'd love for them to play you at fucking full strength, not an easy ass whipping, but it would be special to say the least, bro. I'm fucking with you.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely would be. With that being said, let's move on to some more recent NFL news that has gone down. But before I mention when I mention this news, we'll then make our week 15 picks after making this news. I think it's urgent to make. As many of you guys may know of the news that went down, but for those of you who do not know, the Jacksonville Jaguars have fired their head coach, Urban Meyer, which my personal opinion was a no-brainer of a firing. You look at just the disaster that went down during the season. You only won 2 games. You saw the drama that happened when he played the Bengals, caught in the bar at Ohio State. Doing his thing with the ladies, which is something you do not do, especially if you're a married man. You got other things to worry about. Yeah. And then you look at just this recent story that came out. Former kicker Josh Lambo basically accusing Urban Meyer of basically in a way kicking him. So I mean, you look at just all that stuff that went down. I personally think that was the last straw. I think if that story never came out, I think the Jaguars would have rode out this season with Urban and then fire him at the end of the season.
You talking about the Lambeau story?
Yeah, with the Lambeau story. I think the Lambeau story was the last straw, and you had to. If you're the Jaguars, you had to fire him after that. There was no way you were going to keep him after that. And you even look at with how he's handling James Robinson. How do you bench a 1,000-yard rusher after 1 fumble? How? Like that's inexcusable. And I mean, you look at with Urban Meyer, we've seen so many college coaches go to the NFL and they flopped. You look at even the great Nick Saban. He went to the NFL and he slightly flopped. He was 15-17 with the Dolphins out below 500 record. And
when was this?
This was 2005, 2006.
Oh, he had left Alabama?
2005, 2006, he was with the Dolphins, and then he left the Dolphins and took the Alabama job.
And obviously, ever since he's been there at Alabama
Ever since Saban left the Dolphins and took the Bama job, he's flourished. But we've seen, college is a different, NFL is a different beast compared to college. In college, you could run things as a coach, you could demand, you could control. But in the NFL, you're playing with a bunch of grown men who basically have no time for your BS. If you're a head coach in the NFL, you better have some damn good knowledge, because I'm telling you right now, these players, they know sometimes a lot more than the coaches do. I mean, I'm pretty sure whenever Tony Dungy was Manning's head coach, he had to be on the top of his game, because Peyton Manning, he's one of the most highest IQ QBs of all time. And I'll even throw the example of Matt LaFleur with the Green Bay Packers. Matt LaFleur has to be on the top of his game, because when you're coaching a QB like Aaron Rodgers, who's one of the smartest QBs who could dissect any defense because he's been in the league for 17 years, he's got to be on the top of his game, because he's got to know, like, all right, this QB knows his stuff. I got to be able to be on top of my game to be able to know that. And I think Urban Meyer lacked that. He lacked that knowledge. And also, in a way, he didn't transcend Trevor Lawrence. Before Trevor Lawrence was drafted, everybody thought he was this next big thing, the next Andrew Luck, the next John Elway. And he hasn't been that. Now, his weapons have been terrible, but you also got to look at the head coach has managed him terribly as well. Like, you look at it, it all revolves around the head coach, and Urban Meyer failed at that. Now, he'll obviously still be remembered as one of the greatest college coaches of all time. You saw what he did with Utah, what he did with Florida, won them 2 national championships, and then what he's done with Ohio State, took them into a perennial top 10 team, won them a national championship. He's great in the college ranks. Right. That's all he'll be memorized as. But you also have to look at, it always seems like everywhere Urban Meyer has gone, the fallout has been a disaster. Like look at the fallout when he was at Florida. He had to leave due to health concerns, up in quotations, health concerns. And then you look at the players he was around with. He was basically with a bunch of madmen who were surrounded by, you look at that 2008 Florida squad needs a 30 for 30, because you're talking about that team had Aaron friggin' Hernandez on that. You had the Pouncey twins. You had so much crime and stuff on that team. And then you got the Jesus-loving Tim Tebow QBing that squad. Talking about two different spectrums. Like, that was a crazy team there. And then even recently, when he left Ohio State, and had to retire due to health reasons. And then next thing you know, he's in the booth for about 1.5 years or 2 years. And then he surprisingly takes a job at Jacksonville, which you also got to look at the Jaguars front office and just say, what did you think was going to happen? Like, what did you think was going to happen when you hired Urban Meyer, knowing his track record and knowing that it's his first ever stint in the NFL? Why, if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you basically in your last 10 years had zero success. Besides 2017, where they had the Saxonville year, they've been pretty much a poverty franchise. Zero success, 10 plus losses year in and year out. And you've always failed on your draft picks. And it even started the first year with Urban Meyer. Why would you draft Travis Etienne in the first round when you just had James Robinson rush for over 1,000 yards? Like, yes, they fired their head coach Urban Meyer. Good.
Now they're just fucking stuck.
Who are you going to replace him with? Who is going to want that Jacksonville Jaguars job?
I think that job, not to interrupt you, but I think that job becomes a lot more enticing than it ever was, right?
But how? How does it become enticing? You're not the top team in Florida. Mm-hmm. You look at the Florida football team rankings. It's Tampa at the top, the Dolphins at number 2,
for sure,
and the Jaguars are rock bottom.
Okay, now let me tell you how it's enticing. So Jaguars are 2-3, right? Not 2-3. They're 2-11. Mm-hmm. They have a 2-head running back. Well, I think Travis Entity he hasn't played this season, right?
No, Etienne. I will say Entity is very, very interesting.
Oh yeah, man, bro. My
E
pronunciation's all fucked up.
E
ETN. Hey, everybody was watching this. My pronunciation is fucked up. I really just need to hear how to say some words sometimes, and once I hear it, I'm pretty good. So ETN, right?
Yes, correct.
ETN. So Travis Etienne, I recall that he got hurt for the season, right?
He got I believe he got hurt in either practice or preseason, but he had a Liz Frank where he hurt his foot.
Right. So with that being said, we haven't really been able to see him in action, but the positive potential side of this deal is, well, you can have a two-head running back similar to what the Browns have in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, right? Young guys, so I'm sure both of those guys will be able to reach 1,000 before older running back right now that Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt, those guys are getting older. It's harder for them to get in to break that mold without having a good line and the offense being set around them. So I think in the future, it's bright that you have two running backs you could either choose from or run the ball a little bit more, right? Because Trevor Lawrence has been throwing the ball. He's thrown the ball over 50 times, way too much this season. Blowout losses. He's thrown the ball over 50 times. That's too much. That is entirely fucking too much. And he shouldn't be throwing that many times with the running backs that he has. So I think with the next coach, it makes it enticing because it's like, okay, you have DJ Chark. Receiving core is not that bad. You have DJ Chark. You have Shulant Levant. I don't even know how to say his first name, but Shulant. You know what I'm saying? So you need one more receiver who could really be the anchor of this shit, because I don't think Chark is that guy. He's a good piece. He's a good B, but you need an A. A Jamar Chase, he's an A. A Devontae Adams, he's an A. As far as young receivers, and then when we go to older receivers, Hopkins, MT may be an option who they may trade for. He's an A, right? They need an A receiver. Again, they're 2-11. So assuming that they still have their pick, which I believe they do. I'm not mistaken that they traded it or anything. So with that pick, they could get the number one pick, strengthen the defense, to which you mentioned back in 2007 they were Saxonville. We have a number one. We have a DE coming out of Oregon who likes to sack motherfuckers, right?
That's right, Mr. Thibodeau.
I think right. So I think the job becomes enticing to a coach to say, you know what, I have a young quarterback, who's talented. He could definitely throw the ball. Throwing the ball 50 times per game is absurd. He has no line, absolutely no line. The line is bad, very bad. I've seen him play in person. It's not, no, they don't have a line. So it's enticing because you have a good pick. You're gonna have some money. They don't have nobody that's big time taking up their contracts like that. So they're gonna have a new coach, a top pick, money to go fill in those gaps, and I guarantee you that they're gonna play better next year. And I guarantee you would not see somebody who's watching this go look at the stats and look at how many times Trevor Lawrence has thrown the ball over 50 times a game, and I can guarantee you it's more than one, it's more than two, it's about three or more. And that's too much. Patrick Mahomes isn't even throwing that much. Matter of fact, I want to bring this up real quick. Matter of fact, you could bring this up real quick, Matt. Go ahead and look at the Chargers and Chiefs game real quick. And I just want to make this known real quick.
All right, Chargers Chiefs game. Do you want the stats for it, or?
Yeah, I'll go to QB stats. If you could just go to QB, Pat Mahomes, and even Herbert. Herbert played fucking great too.
Alrighty, I will.
Herbert didn't even throw the ball 50 times a game his rookie year. Maybe he threw it one time. 50 one time. Lance easily over. And he goes 24 for 51. That's horrible. I mean, percentage wise. Next year
and
he's gonna be.
I just pull up the stat line. Here is so for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, he threw 47 times, completed 31, had 410 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. And then Justin Herbert threw 38 times, had 22 completions, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception.
And that's high scoring games. That's a 34 and a 28 score. And that went all the way to the wire and it went to overtime, in fact. So if the game were to end in the fourth quarter, I'm sure those numbers would be a lot lower. You know what I'm saying? And again, it is a high-scoring game, overtime game. Those quarterbacks were forced to make plays, come through, and throw the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still didn't throw 50 times in the game. Neither quarterback. That's the problem with Urban. Now, with a new coach, it's enticing because you cut that down. You have a solid running game, two-head running back. Go get an A receiver, or just go sign another receiver. Get a nice ass line. One of the two, or the three. They gotta get somebody who could put pressure on the quarterbacks on defense, a receiver or a line. However they want to stack that, they got to do that. If they do that, I guarantee you'll see a better season from the Jacksonville Jaguars next year. I don't know about playoffs, but I can guarantee that they will be better with whatever coach takes this job and puts the pieces in place. I my bet is they will be better next year.
Okay, yeah, you might make the case for that, but I will say the Jaguars need to get the right coach in there.
For sure.
You look at the coach that they've had in the past have been very shaky. Even before Urban Meyer, like Doug Barone, he was okay. Like, yeah, he had the one good year in 2017, but that was about it. They need to find somebody with a good offensive mind. Like, they need to find a way, like maybe give Eric Bieniemy a shot, maybe give Ryan Daboll a shot, maybe even. But I might even go out and say maybe get yourself a veteran leader. Maybe go after Jim Caldwell. I think Jim Caldwell would be a great hire for Jacksonville. One, you can instill a culture in Jacksonville. You could find a way to try and build a culture. I mean, you look at what Caldwell did in Detroit was very impressive. I mean, you look at but the thing that he did with Detroit is he would consistently get you about 9 or so wins. He'd have those years where he get maybe 11, maybe like 12 or so wins. But he would constantly get you winning. But what he did in Detroit was he instilled a culture. He instilled a culture of, like getting the job done. I think if you could bring in Jim Caldwell, but tell him that you could bring in whatever staff you want. We just want you here in Jacksonville. I think if you bring in Caldwell, maybe he could turn Trevor Lawrence and maybe he could turn Jacksonville into a playoff contender in like 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be one of those to where I think Caldwell should be the right hire. I think they learned their lesson not to go to the college ranks. I don't think Jacksonville would hire a college coach again. And who knows? Maybe even look at who's on the hot seat. Maybe look and see which coaches are on the hot seat market. Maybe you want to go after them. But I think Jim Caldwell is the way to go. I think what he did in Detroit was good. I mean, you look at even with the track record, like he led the Colts to the Super Bowl in 2009. Like the guy has proven that he can win. And I think if you're Jacksonville, you want to instill a culture and you want to instill a coach who knows what he's doing, go get Jim Caldwell, because Caldwell could be the guy in Jacksonville to where he could maybe even help improve Trevor Lawrence and just overall help as a whole.
Yeah, there are definitely some options. You got Doug Peterson would be maybe another good option. There are some options. Maybe even Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore with the Cowboys. He's young. Maybe that's what they're looking for. Somebody who could build the relationship with, somebody who could build the relationship with the quarterback, with Trevor Lawrence. They're both of them being younger compared to the industry and the coaches and whatnot, that could, resonate with them. But then again, you never know. I think, the next question is who the coach is going to be, who they're going to hire. So I'm glad we talked about that, because that's what you guys will see on ESPN and all these other news outlets, and that's the next question for the Jaguars. Who's the coach, and then what direction are they going to take? Are they going to, go here, left, that's right, left, get a coach? How are they going to build the team? So Yeah,
Mhm.
I think we hit all the nails on the hit him on the nail, bro. We hit him on the nail. What are you thinking?
I think we definitely did as well. With that being said, let's move into our Week 15 picks. This is gonna be quick and easy. I think we can find out which teams can win here and there. Caleb, we discussed this earlier in the episode. Let's kind of go back to it. Week 15 started out. We got Saturday football, Saturday night. Saturday night we got the New England Patriots taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Sunday night, not Sunday night, Saturday night football. Who do you got in this game?
I got the Colts, man. I got the Colts. Who you got?
I got the New England Patriots. I think this is a big game to where we could see the New England Patriots establish themselves as why they will be the number one seed in the AFC, and also for the fact of they won 8 straight games against Indy. I think it'll continue, but I will very much be looking forward to watching this Saturday night game. We then
Yes,
move
indeed, yes.
into the Sunday slate of games. Starting out, we got the Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants. I think it's a no-brainer. I'll start off first. Give me the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, they've been dominant against the Giants. I think they're going to continue that, and I think they're going to try and strive themselves and say, you know what? Let's solidify the NFC East, but let's try and get the number one seed if we can.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys. I'm right behind you. I think they take this one as well.
And then we got another slate on Sunday. A terrible game, but somebody's got to win. We got the 2-11 Texans versus the 2-11 Jaguars. I don't know, man. This game right here is very, very up in the air. I want to hear what you got, Caleb. Give me who you got win this game.
I think the Jags take this just to prove that that they didn't really need Urban. It was Urban and not them. So I think the Jags take this one, bro. Who you got?
I got the Jacksonville Jaguars too. I think
Okay.
the Jags, they're going to look at the Houston Texans. The Texans beat them earlier in the season, week 1. I think they're going to come back in this game. It's at home at Jacksonville, and why not with the momentum on their side? Why not go up there and beat the Houston Texans? And then we
Yeah.
got a good game here, a game that will very much decide the AFC playoff picture. We got the 9-4 Tennessee Titans traveling to the Pittsburgh Steelers to play the 6-1 Steelers. Also offers by saying, I think this is going to be a Pittsburgh Steelers win. I think at Heinz Field, I think the confidence is slowly starting to build with this team, and I'm going with the high rider. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me Big Ben. One last ride, like I mentioned earlier. I think he's going to take care of business against Tennessee. Who do you got, Caleb?
I got Tennessee, man. I think they basically I think they want to solidify their spot, and they're gonna find a way to do that. And this is the best team for them to do that against. So I got Tennessee. Shocker.
Absolutely. We then got the New York Jets versus the Miami Dolphins. This is a no-brainer for me. I got the Miami Dolphins. They've been on a hot streak. I think they're going to continue that here against the New York Jets. Who you got, Caleb?
I got Miami. Been on a hot streak. They gotta continue it against the Jets. I don't know what's up with Zach Wilson, but they gotta take advantage of it quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Absolutely. We also got another no-brainer kind of game. We got the Arizona Cardinals, who are 10-3, traveling to the Detroit Lions, who are pretty much all ones. 1,
Mm,
11, and 1.
mm, mm. That was smooth. That was smooth. That was smooth. That was smooth. Before I let you pick up your team, I gotta let you know that was smooth.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I
Yeah,
try to be smooth.
that's right. Smooth Matt. Smooth Matt.
And that's right. I got the Arizona Cardinals in this one. I think they're gonna bounce back from their loss against the Rams. I think I'm gonna feel so bad for the Lions because they're gonna get the full throttle, and I think Cardinals are gonna win this game. And I think they're gonna. This was the game that I mentioned earlier. This game will pretty much solidify the Cardinals on winning the NFC West.
For sure. For sure. For sure. Yeah, man. Arizona, man. I'm going with Arizona. This is no brainer. No brainer. Don't even want to talk about it. No brainer.
Absolutely no brainer. And then this game right here could be an interesting game. we got the 5-8 Carolina Panthers, who are still in the playoff picture, versus the Buffalo Bills, who are also in the AFC playoff picture, but battling for their lives. It's in Buffalo, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see who comes out in this game. I want to hear what you got, Caleb. Who do you think wins this game?
Buffalo. Unfortunately, ever since Cam came back in the mix, it's always exciting to see him in Carolina. You know, I love to watch every game just because he's on the Panthers again, but it's not working well for them. So I'm going with the Bills. They gotta definitely redeem themselves. They gotta win any game that comes their way.
Yeah, I think the Bills are going to win this game as well. I'm not sold on the Panthers, which I mean I feel bad. I want Cam Newton to succeed, but I'm just going with Buffalo. I think the Bills are going to look at this game and simply say, you know what, we have to win this game. If we want a chance at the AFC East, the Bills have to win this game. I think they will. I think they'll get the job done here in this game. We then got another playoff picture matchup. We then get to the next slate of games after the 1:00 Eastern games. We then move to the 4:05 Eastern games. We got the 7-6 Cincinnati Bengals versus the 7-6 Denver Broncos. I will start off by saying I think this is going to be a statement win by the Denver Broncos. It's that mile high. It's that mile high. As I mentioned earlier in this episode, I'm not sold on the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals blew it against the 49ers. I think if the Bengals wanted a chance to either win the division or make the playoffs, they had to beat the 49ers. And I think Denver, and the thing with Denver is I think they're playing with a different energy. Those of you guys who do not know, Demaryius Thomas recently passed away last Thursday, which was devastating news from the Denver Broncos. They played with a lot of heart against Detroit, and I think they're going to continue that with the rest of the season. I think they're going to continue to play with a lot of heart. I think they're going to play for Demaryius Thomas, and I think this is going to be another game to where the Bengals on paper may look better than the Broncos, but I think the Broncos got a lot of heart. They've won 3 of the last 4 games against Cincinnati. I think they're going to continue. I think they're going to go 8-6. I think the Broncos are going to find a way to beat the Cincinnati Bengals, especially with this being on the road at Mile High.
I feel you. Before I even make my pick, let's give a moment of silence for Demaryius Thomas. So with that being said, Demaryius Thomas is definitely one of the receivers back when I was a kid. I was watching him with the Denver Broncos. So yeah, definitely want to send condolences out to his family. But I'm gonna go ahead and make my pick now. And with that being said, I'm sorry, Denver. Sorry, but I'm going with Cincy.
Going with Cincy, okay.
Yes, sir. I'm big on Joe. I'm big on Jameer. I think the offense, they can score. Defense, they just gotta hold Denver down. I think Denver on the offensive side of the ball, not too much of a problem. I know Denver on the defensive side of the ball, they can hold it down. So, you know, offense versus defense. I'm going with Joey.
Okay, that definitely can't go wrong with that. I think it's an either or kind of game. We then got the Atlanta Falcons at 6-7 traveling to San Francisco to play the 7-6 San Francisco 49ers. I want to hear what you got, Caleb. Who you got in this game?
I got the Niners, man. It's a big game for them, and I think that they're gonna, pull it off, man. They are an older, more experienced team, desperate, trying to get to the playoffs, and I think they have the right guys on the team and in the locker room to pull the strings to come out on top.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. I think the 49ers are going to win this game as well. I think they're the better equipped team. I think what we saw the 49ers do against the Cincinnati Bengals, they're going to be a threat in the NFC playoffs because, I mean, you saw Jimmy G doesn't turn the ball over, and if George Kittle is cooking like he did against the Cincinnati Bengals, oh, watch out NFC because whoever's got to play the 49ers, and it's whoever is that third seed in the NFC, they better watch out because they got a tough contest when they got to play the San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's move on to America's game of the week, 4:25 Eastern. We got my Green Bay Packers, who are 10-3, travel to Baltimore to play the 8-5 Baltimore Ravens. You already know who I'm going with. You know I got to ride with my Green Bay Packers. You already know the deal. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's Aaron Jones. It's Devontae Adams. We know that offense is going to be clicking. And that D-Train defense is starting to roll too. Former Eagles Rasul Douglas looking like he's one of the top corners of the Green Bay Packers. We got Jair Alexander slowly returning to health. We got David Bakhtiari slowly returning back to health. So Darius Smith coming soon. But also just look at the Packers. You got A-Rod, you always got a chance to win. Give me the Packers over the Baltimore Ravens. I want to hear what you got, Caleb.
I'm riding right behind you, doggy. I'm riding right behind you, bro. I got Green Bay winning this game. You know, hey, Aaron Rodgers has just been looking amazing the past couple of weeks. And Baltimore, they do have a good defense, but I think Green Bay is going to come out on top.
Absolutely. We then got the Sunday night football. We got the 6-7 New Orleans Saints traveling to Tampa Bay to play the 10-3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I want to hear what you got, Caleb.
Man, we making these money picks, man. I love the Saints. I don't want to be biased, but man, I got Tampa Bay, bro. Tampa Bay here. They're just so much of they're that much of a better team this year. So that's why I'm riding with them, bro. Who you got?
I got the Buccaneers as well. I think Tampa. They're just the better equipped team, and I know the Saints have been sort of the boogeyman with Tampa. I know Brady, he lost them twice, during the regular season. But when Tom Brady needed to beat the Saints the most, he got it done. When he needed to beat them in the playoffs, he did. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are looking at it. They're looking at a chance to get in the 1 seed. I think they're going to take care of business against the 6-7 New Orleans Saints. We then move to Monday. Instead of it being one Monday night game, we now got a doubleheader. The Raiders and the Browns was formerly on Saturday, but got switched to Monday at 5 o'clock Eastern. NFL Network. 6-7 Raiders, 7-6 Browns. Both teams battling in the AFC for the playoff picture. I will start off first by saying I got the Brownies. I think the Browns they had a statement win over the ball. They had a statement win over the Ravens last week. I think they're going to continue that. I'm not sold at all on the Raiders. I think the Raiders, the downward collapse is continuing. And I think the Browns are going to ride on Nick Chubb. They're going to ride on Kareem Hunt. They're going to ride on that run game. And I think it's going to be very successful. Who do you got, Caleb?
I got the Browns too, man. I think they're going to be able to, ride through that run game manage the game, which they need to do. And it's desperate right now. This is going to be their time to get in the playoffs and try to make that run for real. So I think that Cleveland's going to do whatever it takes to, make sure that happens. So I'm going with Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. We then got the regular Monday Night Football slate, 8:15 Eastern. We got the 6-7 Minnesota Vikings, who are battling for a playoff spot, versus the 4-9 Chicago Bears. I will start off first by saying I got the Vikings. Dalvin Cook is a monster. We saw what Dalvin Cook did to the New Orleans Saints, and I thank him for it because he got me 35 fantasy points.
He got me like 50.
He was a monster, and I think for the Vikings to go far, they have to rely on Dalvin Cook, and I think Dalvin Cook, like his last name, is going to cook the Chicago Bears.
Facts. I'm riding right behind you, bro. You hit that on the nail. Can't even say anything else. Just be ready for J&J after you guys try to stop him.
Absolutely. We then got the first ever slate this season of Tuesday football. We got the Seahawks and the Rams and the Washington football team versus the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll first hit the Seattle Seahawks, who are 5-8, playing the Los Angeles Rams. Normally was a Sunday game, but got moved to Tuesday. I want to hear what you got, Caleb. Who you got in this game?
Who's host? Rams. Oh, that's what I'm going with. Yeah, man, that's what I'm going with. Hopefully, Jalen Ramsey's in the game to show like how good the defense really is. But I think with or without Jalen Ramsey, they come out on top.
Absolutely 100%. I'm going with the Rams as well. The Rams, they had a statement win. They had a statement win over the Arizona Cardinals. I think OBJ is coming back. I think he's starting to come back into form. He's getting more and more used to the offense. You look at, I think there's a stat line, Caleb, to where it says the last 3 games, Odell's gotten a touchdown the last 3 games. Cooper Kupp is looking like a top 10 receiver in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Rams are rolling. I think the Rams are looking at this game and saying, if we find a way to win this game, we now got a chance at the NFC West, and I think they're going to take it. Give me the LA Rams. Give me Matthew Stafford.
Let's go.
We then got the final game of Week 15, also Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern. We got the 6-7 Washington football team taking on the 6-7 Philadelphia Eagles. A lot on the line in this game. The 7th seed of the NFC on the line in this game. I want to hear, Caleb, who do you got winning this game?
Man, I got them Eagles, boy. You know, that's my favorite team, man. We really gotta win this game. We talked about the Eagles making it to the playoffs this year, and which I would love to see that happen. And if that's gonna be the case, if that's what I and you want to see, we gotta make sure that we vote for them to win. So that's what I'm gonna do. I got the Eagles, bro. Let's go. Who you got?
100%. I as well got the Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to take care of business. I think it's going to be the Jalen Hurts. I think it's going to be the Devontae Smith show. I think they're going to find a way to get the job done, and I think they're going to further move themselves closer to getting that 7th seed in the playoffs. With that being said, that's all the NFL side of things. Let's move on quickly to the NBA news. I'll leave the floor to you, Caleb. What has been your overall thoughts so far on this NBA season?
Oh, Lord. So let's get into this NBA season, shall we, guys? Right now it is so tough in this season. We have so many COVID protocols going on. Just if you guys didn't get news, Kyrie Irving is gonna be returning and joining the Nets again as a part-time player, but he did enter COVID protocol, so he has to get 5 days a negative test, and he'll be able to play. I think the Nets could really use him. Last night. Well, actually, I want to know what you think about Kyrie Irving and the Nets as a whole, Matt. What are you thinking?
I think with Kyrie coming back is going to be huge for Brooklyn. I think whether or not it's part time or full time, I think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to be a huge addition to this Nets squad. I mean, you look at the Brooklyn Nets, as we see here, are currently the number 1 seed. They are 21-8 so far this season. They seem to be on a roll this season. They've won 4 straight. You got KD rolling. You got James Harden. You know, the Nets are going to be. The Nets are looking like the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. I know the Bucks, they're the defending champs. They're starting to get things rolling. They start out a little slow, but they're starting to come back. They're currently the 3rd seed. And I think with Kyrie returning to Brooklyn, I think it just makes them that much more of a threat in the Eastern Conference than they already are.
Right. I definitely have to agree with you. You know, they're definitely a threat in the Eastern Conference, and he makes them that much more of a threat. But sliding to the West, like we got the Warriors, bro, and I think we've done enough overlooking of the Warriors. What's your take on their season this year?
Man, the Warriors. This looks like the championship days. The Warriors, man, they are just cooking on all cylinders, as you guys already know. But for those of you who do not know, Steph Curry recently passed Ray Allen for the most 3-pointers, not just in a season. We're talking all time in NBA history. And this man's only 32. This man's got another 5 years left. I mean, he is cooking it up. I think the Warriors are the scariest team in the NBA as a whole. I mean, you look at they're doing this, Caleb, without Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson hasn't even played yet, and they're 24-5, and Steph Curry is playing like the best he's ever played at his whole career. He's currently, in my opinion, the front runner to win NBA MVP.
That's what I was about to say.
It's not even
who's
close.
Your top three when it comes to MVP? Who's your top three?
Top three for MVP. It has to be Steph Curry. It has to be Kevin Durant. And I think the third one, I think it has to be Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah,
like those are my top three.
Okay. I like that. I like that. I would substitute Giannis for LeBron. Then again, Giannis hasn't missed all these games like LeBron has, so I see why you go there.
I would say I feel like if LeBron were healthy and if the Lakers had a better record, I would give it to him. But I think the way how Giannis is playing, with him being healthy and with the Bucks being a third seed, I think he would be the best as third option. But right now, the clear-cut favorite is Steph Curry. He's clearly running away with this without a doubt. But KD could be right behind them as well.
Facts, and that just to answer the question, my MVP is Steph Curry, and Steph Curry. Those are my three. I honestly think there's nobody outplaying him right now. He's playing super, super well. Another great team to mention is the Suns. They're literally neck and neck with the Warriors, and Chris Paul is leading the team well. They're actually looking like they are a legitimate contender. Would you agree?
Yeah, they definitely look like a legitimate contender. The Phoenix Suns are one of those teams to where I had no idea what kind of team they were going to be last year, and obviously they proved to me that they were the team to beat in the Western Conference. They made it to the finals last year, but the thing is, they blew a 2-0 lead against the Bucks and they lost in 6 games.
Right.
For the Phoenix Suns, now that you got to the finals, now I'm looking at now that they look like a playoff team. How well are you going to do in the playoffs? Because you got to look at it. Because you got to look at it from the standpoint of you got to play whoever the 7th seed is. That could be Denver. That could be Dallas. That could be Minnesota, or it could be Sacramento, as we see as this current standings of today. And you got to look at if you got to play the Denver Nuggets in the first round, the Denver Nuggets are going to give you a run for their money. As that 7th seed, and then even after that, if you got to play, the Utah Jazz or even the Lakers if they're fully healthy, they might give them a good run for the money. And then even if you get through that, you got to go through the mighty powerhouse and the Golden State Warriors. And they're not even in full form because they got Klay Thompson just waiting. So
they got him just waiting.
My concern for the Suns is when they get to the playoffs, how will they play? Because we always see teams, they play good in the regular season, but it's not about the regular season. It's about the playoffs. How are you going to play in the playoffs? That's what's going to matter. Was the Phoenix Suns playoff run last year a fluke, or was it actually a good playoff run? Because we look at it, some people even look at that Suns like, yeah, you may beat the Lakers, but the Lakers weren't full health. AD wasn't fully healthy. They weren't all that. And then they go up there and they play against the Denver Nuggets, and it was like, you know what? The Nuggets weren't at full strength either. They didn't have Jamal Murray. Yeah, you swept them. And then, you look at the same thing with the Clippers when they beat the Clippers in the conference finals. It was like they didn't have Kawhi Leonard. What were you supposed to do? But when they played a full strength Milwaukee Bucks team, they lost in 6. So now it's all about when you got to play a healthy team, Phoenix. How are you going to do in the playoffs? Was last year's run a fluke? Did you just get lucky that star players were injured, or are you actually a legit team? Because I'm telling you right now, like if they are a legit team, they do have the capabilities, Caleb, to make it to the finals. They definitely have the capabilities to do that. But if you got to play a fully healthy Warriors team, if you got to play a fully healthy, Denver team or even Dallas, possibly, they could give Phoenix a run for their money. They really well could. So it'll be interesting to see it. Why do I think that is?
Right.
Well, I think that is just because you look at Phoenix. Besides last year, when they had a good season, when was another time of success? They were literally before last year's finals run. They were irrelevant for a decade.
Yeah, but they didn't have a point guard. That lets you know how the difference of Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul is the reason they are what they are today.
But you
Right
also
now,
got
it's
but
Chris
you also
Paul.
got to look at how much gas does Chris Paul have left in the tank? This man's
Not a,
pushing. This man's pushing. Like last year's year 16, this year's year 17. Will he have enough? Will he have enough in the tank? Because it seemed like last year in the playoffs when he got to the finals after game 2, he seemed out of gas because that Suns team looked different after game 2. After game 2, when game 3 was in Milwaukee, something happened to the Suns. Something changed because they were not the same team. They lost 4 straight and they lost the championship. My concern for the Phoenix Suns is, can Chris Paul keep it up, keep his play well like he's doing the regular season? Can he keep it up in the playoffs? That's my only matter of concern for Phoenix, because if they can keep up how they're playing in the regular season, absolutely they can make it to the conference finals with ease. With ease, they could easily make it to the conference finals.
Yeah,
But
this is
I want to know. I just want to know. And now what's impressive about it is they're doing this without Devin Booker. That's what I'm impressed with. They're 23-5. They've been playing some games without Devin Booker, and they're still winning. That's what I'm impressed with. So I just want to see if they can continue this in the playoffs. If they can, fantastic. They can make it to the conference finals. But if they can't, they might get bounced in the second round.
Yeah, I can see that. But I believe this year is like their true test of regarding where they truly are. This is the measuring stick, and right now at this point of the season, they're looking legit. Another 2 teams that are surprising, but then again, in this case, legit. You got to look at the Bulls over on the East, 17-10, number 2 seed in the East. You got Cavaliers, 18-12, number 4 seed in the 4 seed in the East. Then again, you can't get too excited for the East because this shit happens all the time. You'll see the teams at the bottom will then be 4 through 8 in 6 weeks.
And it's also middle of December.
Right,
We
it's still
haven't
early.
I personally it's the same thing how I kind of feel. I mean, for those of you guys who don't know, both Caleb and I are diehard Laker fans. It's kind of how I feel about the Lakers. Like the Lakers,
Let's
they've
get
been
into it.
struggling.
Let's get into it.
Like the Lakers, man, they've been struggling bad. I mean, 16-14. When we have a team like that, it's not a good look. And with Anthony Davis getting hurt, that's not a good look. But the thing that I want to see is how will they look by February? Because I'm telling you right now, because for those of you guys who do not know, the reason why I say wait till February is because normally the week before the All-Star break is the NBA trade deadline. And I truly believe by the trade deadline, we can truly see what teams are the contenders and what teams are the pretenders. And I'm telling you right now, if the Lakers are not a top 4 seed by February, something is going to happen. Some change is going to be made. Whether that's a trade, whether that's a coaching fire, whether it's a coaching hire, something's going to change. Something's going to change, like if no one's hired. But for right now, and it's with any teams, even in the Eastern Conference, with the Cavs, with the Bulls, wait till February. Because by February, you'll see a lot of these teams funnel out. Some teams will buy in, some teams will sell. We'll get a lot of mix and match, and then by March we'll truly see the next playoff race. But overall, it's going to be exciting to see what we get for the rest of this NBA season. Hopefully, our Lakers turn it around, because if they don't turn it around, then it's going to possibly be another first round exit, and that's something that we do not want. We want to see the Lakers go far this year. We want to prove the doubters that 2020 was not a fluke. And it wasn't just because we got lucky because of a bubble. It was because we were a damn good team. So let's hope the Lakers turn this ship around. Let's hope by February or even by season's end, they're a top 4 team, and hopefully we'll silence some of the doubters.
Exactly. This is a true test for them. Again, I think it's a true test for the Lakers to to see who they really are. We really get a chance to see if Russ could fit into this system and fit with us with just LeBron. If he could step up, this is why we traded for him. If we still go through some of the same struggles, we know that we got to roll with our squad this year, and maybe we could get somebody off and and get somebody next year. We know that maybe Buddy Hield should have been the option that we went with this year. So I think this is a true test to what Russell Westbrook will be with the Lakers. And, this is going to help us figure out what we have to do, despite, hopefully, AD is able to play for us again this season. I hope that he's okay. I hope that he's able to play again, like, honestly. And if we could have him back later in the season, I'm okay with that. Russell Westbrook has to find his way. If that could happen, if Russell Westbrook could just find how he could fit with just him and LeBron controlling the team, and we could, do something right now, we have some hope. But if not, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But there's no doubt in my mind we're gonna make the playoffs. Like you said, we got to show that 2020 isn't a fluke, in which it's not. But we have a lot of proving to do. As Lakers fans, me and you, we have a lot to prove. We have nothing to lose. We have a lot to prove, but nothing to lose. So, with that,
absolutely, I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Lakers will do the rest of the season and so on and so forth. And one last thing that I'll mention before we close out this episode, I can't believe I forgot to tell you about this or talk about this later.
Mm-hmm.
There was the biggest recruiting news we've ever seen. For those of you guys who do not know, top recruit Travis Hunter, originally committed to Florida State, but our guy, primetime Deion Sanders, coaching one of the biggest HBCUs out there, Jackson State, was able to flip Travis Hunter to go to Jackson State. And I kind of want to throw this out there to you, Caleb. How big of a win is this for Deion Sanders and Jackson State as a whole and for HBCUs?
Oh, man, this is huge, bro. This is huge. This is huge for HBCUs, bro. This is a proud moment, for one. It's a proud moment to be a part of the culture and experience the culture. Again, though, it's huge, bro. I can't even emphasize how big and how important and it is for us as young black men in America, young black women in America, to see, like, what that kid has did and changing the trend from going to a PWI or whatever to HBCU. Nothing wrong with going to Dukes and the predominantly white schools. I just think that it's a good look on the culture. It's a good look for younger football players and younger women of their sports to consider doing the same thing and changing the trend. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's definitely himself as a coach. He's 11-1 out in Jackson State. So this tremendously is gonna help HBCUs and the situation.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with you as well. I was shocked by this. I mean, I normally don't tune into recruiting season. I normally just think of it as like, normally the top prospects go to where they normally go, so on and so forth. But I think this is so important just because of the matter of Deion Sanders, for those of you guys who do not know, is a Florida State alum. Like, he went to Florida State, dominated at FSU, and then to be able, and to also, you have to think about it this way. Florida State didn't want to hire Deion Sanders. They went with Mike Norvell instead. And safe to say that's kind of looking bad because Mike Norvell hasn't been doing well at Florida State. And then now you look at it, they just lost their top recruit. Why? Because Deion Sanders has that big of an impact. And you also got to look at Travis Hunter. What position does Travis Hunter play? He plays cornerback. What is primetime Deion Sanders? A cornerback. Who would not want to learn from the best? And I also think for Travis Hunter as a whole, I think it's big for what he's doing. Like you mentioned, Caleb, it's big for him to go to HBCU because maybe it could change a trend. Maybe instead of them going to, maybe like different schools, maybe to like Alabama's or a Clemson or Ohio State, maybe they might look at, whether it's a Prairie View A&M or even Jackson State, they may look at that as like, you know what? Maybe I can make a difference out there, and maybe they could get HBCUs more of a bigger brand name.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's about. You gotta look at at these other schools like you know, you got USC. They're a brand now. You know what I'm saying? They are a brand. And they've built a brand to where kids aren't going there based off of what they're doing now, what's going on now. They're going there based off of what happened in the past. You know, their culture in the past, especially with these student athletes. So it's about building a culture, about building a brand, and that's definitely what Deion Sanders and Travis Hunter are trying to do down there at Jackson State, and with other HBCUs too. I think he is the first, and I'm so glad he's the first. But I think we could expect many more.
I definitely hope so as well. I thought it was a great thing to touch up on. I think it'll be big
For
if
sure.
that starts a big trend. And with that being said, that will conclude episode 60 of the MCS Real Sports Podcast. We got my great co-host to the right, Caleb Conant, and you got myself, Matt Skura. We hope you guys enjoy your beautiful Saturday, December 18th, and we hope you guys enjoy plenty days of football and the rest of this basketball season. That's Caleb Conant to my right. We got myself here. We are signing out.